All right, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. Today's date is July 20th, 2023. Our first order of business is our roll call, which will be conducted by Jeff Jones, the board's legal director.
Chair French.
Here.
Department of Agriculture.
Here.
Department of Health. Department of Natural Resources. Department of Development.
Here.
Environmental Protection Agency. Our public member, Greg Sloan.
Here.
Representative Stein.
Here.
Representative Skindell.
Here.
Senator Smith.
Here.
Chair French, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. The next order of business is approving the minutes from the meeting of June 15th, 2023. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes as prepared.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Are there any comments or discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes as prepared are approved. Okay, item number 1 on our agenda, case 23104 ELBLN, please.
In this opinion and order and certificate, the board issues a certificate to Blossom Solar LLC for the construction, operation, and maintenance of a 138 kilovolt transmission line in Morrow County.
Okay. Is there a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Item number 1 is approved. Item number 2, case 21902 GEBRO, please.
In this finding and order, the board adopts the proposed amendments to Ohio Administrative Code Section 4906 and directs that the proposed rules be filed with the Joint Committee on Agency Rule Review.
Okay. Is there a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Smith.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So I appreciate the Power Siting Board sending over the draft of the rule changes, and I've got some questions about item number 23, which would be on pages 9 and 10. In the first paragraph relative to item 23, it talks about additionally, the staff recommends several other amendments. This includes multiple examples of information for applicants to include that were not previously in the rules that would generally enhance health, safety, land use, and ecological measures and assist staff in its review. And then it says other notable amendments include, and then it goes off to list, 7 or so. And I have some questions on some of those. But I guess just how that first paragraph is worded, staff recommends several other amendments. Are those amendments the ones that are listed below, or are those others?
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Mr. Wallstra to address this question for me, please.
Sure,
Thank
absolutely. Senator Smith, I think obviously the major changes are highlighted in the bullet points below that section. The other amendments are, we made adjustments in regards to Senate Bill 9, regards to rural restrictions. Some are just kind of fixing some typographical errors. Other amendments are smaller scale and just kind of like adjusting the map size requirements or the size of an area that needs to be inspected and reviewed. So they're very just minor amendments.
But the language says that this includes multiple examples of information for applicants that would generally enhance health, safety, land use, ecological measures, and assist staff in its review. What you seem to describe, I think in my view, is kind of technical amendments sometimes. And so I guess I'm just wondering if we might be able to see those other amendments at some point.
Yeah, the rules are attached to this order, so they're all in there, all the changes that are made. In regards to this specifically, the factors that are laid out where it says to enhance health, safety, land use, ecological measures. Those are also probably most broadly summarized in the bullet points below, which is regard to sending out construction notices, the grading plans, drain tiles, noise limits, stormwater pollution prevention plans. So that kind of is the major point that goes into the enhancing safety measures.
Thank you very much. All right, so I'll move on. I've got two other questions on amendments that are contained within number 23, or changes that are contained within 23. the fourth one on noise limits, and I guess the seventh one on setback requirements. My question is the same for both of those, which is just, we've got what the new limits, both in terms of setback requirements and noise will be, but I don't know if I know what the previous limits were. So I'm wondering what those are. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Jump in. I'll talk about the setbacks first. For the new rules largely address setbacks for solar facilities, and those previously did not exist. Usually staff would address those through conditions in their staff report that were typically agreed to with the parties. So there were setback requirements that have kind of evolved over the years as we worked with the public and got feedback from developers, tried to balance the interests of everyone there. So these are just codifies what had previously been going into just conditions that were later adopted by the board. Pretty similar as well for the noise limits. For solar, we didn't have those before. Usually they would be agreed upon conditions, so that what we kind of set up with the noise limits is we didn't receive much. We initially put the rules out over a year ago now, and we didn't, with the proposed rules, we haven't changed those since then, and have gotten pretty good feedback on what we'll put into rule.
So if I could just ask a follow-up on the setbacks. Do you know if any projects would not have been able to go forward if the current setbacks that we're adopting here were in place when those solar installations were first approved?
I'd have to go back and check. I think all the cases are rather unique, as well as, every rule is subject to waiver as well, so, we can always adjust these on a case-by-case basis. I do think there were some approved that were at different setback limits. Obviously, those were subject to good neighbor agreements and other outliers that differentiate each case.
Thank you.
So, is that all, Senator?
Yes.
Thank you, Senator. Oh. There we go. All right, thank you, Senator Smith, for those thoughtful questions. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? All right, item number 2 is approved. I do want to say, if I could just take a moment, please. I really would like to recognize the OPSB staff for the extensive time and work that you put into these rules. The OPSB initiated a rule review in 2020 as part of the standard requirement to review all agency rules every 5 years. The rule review began with a series of stakeholder meetings where informal comments were gathered from a wide range of interests. Then in 2021, the OPSB held public workshops to collect additional input before issuing draft proposed rules for formal comments and reply comments. The rules touched on all areas of OPSB jurisdiction and process, but are especially of interest to those who follow renewable energy, as they propose several new rules around the implementation of solar energy projects. Once given final consideration by the OPSB, the rules are subject to the OPSB rehearing process before being submitted to the Ohio Legislature's Joint Committee on Agency Rule Review for review before taking effect. This rule package spans over 100 pages, and staff combed through not only the rules themselves, but also written comments and reply comments filed by over 20 formal parties and an additional 400 public comments. Your thorough review of all of this material was definitely a heavy lift. Your efforts do not go unnoticed. So thank you to the OPSB staff, OPSB administrative law judges, and the legal team, and also to the other stakeholders for providing their input and participating in the rule review process. Thank you all very much. Okay, that is the end of our agenda for today. I want everyone to know that we are not going to hold an August board meeting, okay? Therefore, our next board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 21st at 1:30 p.m. Are there any additional comments from board members or staff? Okay, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.